Everyone I have tried and tried to make possible an interview is with you, Justin. Justin Doan, who is, I don't even know how old you are. It doesn't matter necessarily, but you are accomplishing some things that I want our audience to get to understand a little bit. You are an amazing young man, and it's just taken months for your schedule to open a little window to come and visit with us. And I've gone and eaten your recipes and your food and come back and said, I want to interview that young man. And here we are, and I'm so blessed. Justin, tell us where you are now, and then we'll go backtrack.
Okay. I just come back from California. I did a kind of an educational externship out there with a private winery. I got to go and work one-on-one with a head winemaker there, and really see what goes into the winemaking process. You know, my education is in food and beverage and culinary, so it was very, very neat to be able to go and look to see the before product before it hits the tables. It was very neat, very, very cool, very educational, and it was really, really, really neat to go and work with a family that has been doing this for over 100 years. You know, they started out in Italy doing their own thing. The grandfather decided, well, let's go to California and see what we get into. And Rocchioli is the winery that I got to go and work with. They have remarkable wines. So I wrap that up and I come back home, Texas, and now I think education is in my calling.
Okay, now let's back up to get us to the point where you are today.
Okay.
You grew up where?
San Angelo, Texas.
The whole way?
Born and raised. I was born here, moved to Abilene when I was in 3rd grade, went 3rd, 4th, came back here at the end of the 4th grade, and graduated from Central High School.
And you did what as a Central student? What were you involved in?
Culinary arts was here. It was in my heart. I knew that was my passion.
How did you know that?
Family. I mean, family. We've been in the restaurant business my whole life. My grandparents started the KFCs here in San Angelo. My dad's side of the family has had restaurants their whole life, hospitality, golf courses. And so I just knew that was where I was supposed to be. Now, I didn't know what, maybe. I could have sworn that I was supposed to do the chef thing. And I love to cook, but I just knew that culinary, hospitality was my calling. So
at no point while you were 12 to 14 middle schooler did you say, okay, my family's doing this, there is no way I'm going to do this?
Never. If somebody was in the kitchen, you can bet your behind I was right there beside them. I wanted that spoon in my hand, and I wanted to be involved in it all.
So your family must have made it enjoyable.
Oh, definitely. Family 100% was behind me, 100% had every influence on me through my whole career, through school, through everything. Family is my driver.
So when you are in that line of work, restaurants, that's hard work.
Very.
And not everyone is happy.
Not at all.
And yet you still saw that and knew that was a goal.
Yeah, I think when you're raised with a family who is so determined to do what they believe that they can do, and there's nobody on the outside that can tell them no, that they can't. And that's my family. There's nobody that's going to tell me, you can't do that, I'm sorry.
So you went through culinary arts thinking, I'm going to make this my calling.
Right.
And then what did you do after Central High School?
Central, I applied for scholarships at Johnson & Wales University. It's used to be a private culinary school. They've gone public. Very prestigious.
Very prestigious.
They know they know culinary through and through. Hospitality is mainly what they're known for. I applied for the Denver campus, got accepted. Went 2 years there, got my culinary degree there at Johnson Wales, Denver. And then decided, do I want to pursue the 4-year culinary, which it's all it is culinary, cooking. Or do I want to go and broaden my education and do the business side of it? So I decided, well, Johnson Wales just opened up a Charlotte campus, state-of-the-art, beautiful campus, had everything to offer. The city is absolutely fantastic. It's one of the greatest cities I've been to. And I thought, well, let's try that out. So I went and got my food service management, hospitality, business degree through Johnson Wales at the Charlotte campus.
North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Wow. So Denver, North Carolina.
Right. And
you tell me that people, because you were a Texan, but out of state, you got a nickname.
I did. I was known on both campuses, Denver and Johnson Wales, at Charlotte, as Tex.
And you did not do that.
I did not do that.
No.
I think actually it might have been one of my professors who started it.
I'll be.
Tex, what are you doing over there? Everybody's looking around. Who's Tex?
But you were the only Texan maybe in the class.
It was funny. It stuck with me through my whole college career. Tex. It was. So after North Carolina, from interviewing students from Central who have gone to Johnson Wales, I've learned that it is some of the pieces to going to that school. You get a degree, so you take your basics like at a college. Right.
It's not like you just are getting. You're only cooking. You're also getting a college, which I didn't realize.
Right.
And you were also cooking. And learning the business side, which from someone whose family ran businesses,
right.
You knew that you couldn't just produce a good product, you had to use good business knowledge.
Of course.
So you left Charlotte and went where?
I had the opportunity to do a few things. I was going to go with Marriott International and do a training program with them. But family is so important to me. And you get the call from mom or dad or whoever it is. We'd like you to come back and help us with the family business. Of course, I can't say no to family. That's just me.
And you've been gone 4 years.
Right, exactly. So I said, well, maybe I should go back. So I ended up coming back, working for family. For our family restaurant. We've got a couple there. And so then it kind of hit me, I've been working for family all my life. Maybe it's something else that I should do on my own to kind of broaden my whole lookout on things. So, and that's when an opportunity come to be a private chef for a family. And I thought, hey, no, that's private chef.
A private chef. Justin, I would like one of those. Now, my husband is a cook now that he's retired, and an excellent one. But I know he would like to have a private chef. But those are not just for the run-of-the-mill families, are they?
No, it's not. These are people that know what they want, expect great food, expect superior service, and they're not just going to want a fast, put in the oven kind of meal, and that they want something that's full of flavor, rich, something that you're not going to eat every day, days on end, and then they're definitely not going to let you slack and do just anything.
So how you did this for someone famous, didn't you?
Well, I did it for a very prestigious family from Midland, Texas. They are a very big business owners, business adventurers, and they're very wealthy. They're very well known. in the whole Texas state of Texas. Now backing up, while I was at Charlotte, I did get to do cooking for the Carolina Panthers.
Is that more quantity or quality?
Both.
Okay.
It's definitely both. Those guys.
More than red meat and potatoes?
They eat hot dogs to. Anything. Hot dogs to caviar to lobster.
Do they care if it's pretty though?
No, not really. Just as long as it's there for them to grab up and eat. They don't care about the presentation too much. But John Madden. I got to cook for John Madden, all his entourage, all the Carolina football players and coaches. It was a very neat experience. Got to rub elbows with the elite.
Wow.
And I just soaked it in. I loved it. It was very neat.
So then you came back to Midland and were a family's chef.
It was actually at their 7,000-acre ranch right outside of Brownwood, Texas.
Okay.
It was just their home away from home kind of place that they come away from the spotlight of business and whatnot. And they also had a big 12,000 square foot lodge that they would bring guests and members of their board and whatnot, and they come and relax and they have meetings. And so I'd get to cook for them and visit with them, and on more than one occasion they'd come into the kitchen, and instead of going out there with it, they'd stay in the kitchen with me and watch me and actually help me cook. So it was neat to be able to teach somebody of such high importance to do something that you think is just an everyday kind of task.
Is there a leaning toward more chefs who've had maybe as good or even more so opportunities as you? Are more of them temperamental or as good-natured as you are?
I don't want to give the wrong impression, but there's so many hot-headed people in this profession and industry. But I'm definitely not one of them.
I can tell.
Definitely not one of them.
Yeah. Well, the experiences you had before you came back home this time, were you allowed to grow and continue to do expand your depth of experiences as a chef, or were people more narrow in their what they wanted you to produce for them?
You know, the family that I got to cook for, that I was a private chef for, they did allow me to do a lot of exploration and a lot of new ideas and stuff with them. Corporate-wise, with the Carolina Panthers, we had strict regulations, strict guidelines that we had to follow, because it was the public eye basically that we were cooking for. So they did have guidelines, but they weren't so that we couldn't maybe give ideas. They weren't opposed to new things, but they did have definitely guidelines that we had, more strict guidelines that we had to follow. But the family that I cooked for, I got to choose a lot of different things, try it out on them, and if they liked it, we'd do it again. If we didn't, we'd start over.
And nobody yelled.
Nobody yelled.
That's
nobody threw anything in the trash
setting,
can.
Isn't it?
It is. And you see Gordon Ramsay on TV on Hell's Kitchen. Oh, I think if he threw a chicken breast at me, it's fixing to come back. That's ridiculous.
Well, you have said that you want to go to do education, and you and I discussed, I asked you the very first question, do you like young people? And I sort of had sensed from you by the look on your face that you might do very well with young people, because they're going to ask why.
Right.
Why you use that pan, why you use that spice.
Exactly.
But they're also extremely creative young people, are going to want to spread their wings and try stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And
definitely.
you're the kind of person I would want them just like our marvelous culinary arts instructor, I believe I've been in her kitchen with young people when they are trying. She allows them, and I think that's why so many of her students want to go on, because they have experienced with her opportunities to experiment, certainly within safety guidelines.
Of course.
But there's laughter in her kitchen, which it appears you might allow.
Numerous times I can recall of that class.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah. Okay, now we've probably skipped some time in there between the Midland family and when you have now come back to San Angelo this time. Where were you then?
Between Midland and San Angelo?
Yes. Did you come directly?
Well, I actually, it was of course right outside of Brownwood. And then I went, from there I went to California, then I've come back, kind of taken a little time off, trying just to figure out what exactly the direction I need to go now. And then that's where I've always had that little birdie in the back of my mind saying, education is great. I'm really kind of prone to helping others, to giving back, to showing them that they can do anything that they want to do in the power of themselves. They don't have to have other people to tell them that they can't, to shut down. They're their own inspiration. They're their own punch. They can do it on their own. And education is I think where I need to be.
What are you doing with yourself right now?
I think I'm finding out who I really am.
And did this most recent trip to California with the wine, you saw every aspect of whether it's restaurant or winery is hard work.
Oh my, it's very hard work.
And it is sometimes, for every successful project, even if it's down to a menu, for every successful little piece of the business to great big pieces, they're failures, right, or experimentation that sometimes take time and money.
Right.
And do you get discouraged with yourself when something bombs?
The initial reaction is, man, what in the world did I do wrong? What did I do to not go through with this? What did I do to? And you do, but you have to take a step back and look at where you've been, how you've got to this point, and how you can push through whatever it is that you're going through. Yeah, and I've been discouraged, but I've found my ground again numerous times, and I'm still here running strong.
Do you bounce back fairly quickly?
I do.
Okay. I
am. I don't stay down long. Nobody's going to keep me down.
Yeah, good for you. Okay, so how do you hope to use your goals to work in education? What would you hope 5 years from now you could be doing?
Honestly, I would love to start teaching at a high school level. I want to take what I've learned and share it with kids where I started. I started in the culinary hospitality, the whole thing there at Central. And I think it would be great to use my knowledge. For one, I'm so young, and I have experienced a lot. I've seen a lot. I've gone all over the U.S. Wish I could have gotten out of U.S., but still within the U.S. there's so much, so much to learn and soak up. And I've seen it and I've done it, and I'd like to share it and teach others that you can do it. You might not think you have the means, but it's there. You can do it.
Who was your biggest encourager?
I would have to say my grandparents. You know, they took that leap of faith, that step of in the dark kind of thing. You know, they came from Indiana in oil and gas and went to a restaurant. I mean, they had no idea what the restaurant world. They met Colonel Sanders, my grandfather did, and sparked the notion, well, let's try the food service. And, you know, they just took the leap of faith. They didn't have a clue what to do, how to do it. And moved, packed up all their family, all the kids from Indiana, cold Indiana, moved to hot Texas, San Angelo, and they just hit the ground running. And of course, they had setbacks, but they never gave up. And he's such an inspiration to not only me, but my entire family. You can call him and ask him anything that you would that you're struggling with, and he's gonna tell you, just have faith in yourself, believe in yourself. Don't let the outside world. That's what people nowadays let everybody else, the world, influence their ideas, and it puts a stop to it. They kind of get smothered. Their ideas are no more. So then they feel lost. Like, now what am I supposed to do? But my grandfather, he's an awesome individual, and of course my entire family. Without family, to me, you can't survive, I don't think.
And in my business of education, sometimes we are called upon, and it's a great privilege for me to fill the gap when some young people aren't blessed with the hand of cards you've been blessed with. I was blessed with family who were supporters and encouragers and helped me realize my dreams.
Right.
And you obviously have as well, but where then we have the opportunity, and if you're blessed to go into education, is we can be the encouragers for other young people and help them see and even with our economy, what I so much, and Gail Bickle in our culinary arts program, I believe constantly is helping young people to see, even though it's expensive to go to culinary arts schools, and even though this city is the most generous in the restaurant association here and their fundraisers going toward young people so
right.
that they can go to outstanding culinary art schools, they still need a support network.
They do.
And I hope more people who appear to me to be like you, who could fill that gap for other young people to be their encouragers. And we need good, healthy cooks.
Right.
Chefs and cooks that not only make it taste good and look good, but are healthy. We have
right, exactly.
And we have a crisis. We are called upon in the school business when there are health and societal crises. We are called upon to step in and help, and one of them is childhood obesity.
That's right.
And so our great cafeteria program here in San Angelo ISD, before they had to quit doing the frying, which is unpopular.
Right.
Society would much rather have fried.
Of course, it's comfort.
Are you sensing from your readings and just experiences that more people are satisfied with more healthy food?
You know, it's become more aware, that's for sure. People are more aware of the obesity in America. And I think they really are trying to put something else in front of them to make them realize, you know, you're only hurting yourself. I mean, and I do think that the world is becoming more and more supportive of trying to help the obesity. I definitely do.
What is your favorite kind of food to cook and prepare, or one or two kinds?
Oh my, I love food so much. I mean, That's such a hard question. I've got that many
How about
times.
sauces with cream?
Yeah. They're very good, yeah.
But we have to have trade-offs. There has to be more healthy, and then I can have a little bit of that.
That's right.
Those marvelous sauces.
You know, you can do just a simple marinade. So for instance, you can marinate a piece of chicken in just olive oil, a little red wine vinegar, and soy sauce. You can throw that together. I mean, there's sodium maybe is the only thing that you really might be overdoing it with the soy sauce, but there are so many different
So there's
ways.
no half and half in your refrigerator?
I'm not gonna lie, there's some in there. There's some in there. There's a whiskey bourbon cream sauce that is to die for. You put over.
You just can't do that every day.
You can't do it every day at all.
And that's the problem.
Right.
We want to do it. Once our appetite has been whetted with that kind of experience, it's hard to go with just the olive oil on the chicken.
Right. I'm a big guy, and starting out in school, I love food and I ate everything I saw. But growing up and seeing the differences, I took nutrition classes, I took all kinds of different classes to show you the different ingredients and stuff that you can substitute for these fatty and high calorie sauces and stuff. And I've changed my diet. I've recently lost about 45 pounds.
Good for you.
And still going. So there are, I'm a prime example of somebody that is in the industry who has seen all the different vast ingredients and stuff and have overcome it. And that's a lie. You can't, that saying, don't trust a skinny chef. There's so many different ways to go around
Well,
that.
I hope you keep striving to make healthy taste be memorable and taste marvelous. I love a good memory after sitting down to eat a great chef's preparation, and part of it though has got to be healthy. It can't be every course on the menu, or we can't live like that. We can't sustain that kind of choices.
Just earlier today, somebody asked me about the problem with gluten, and I don't know if you're familiar, but there's more and more people that come into restaurants who cannot have gluten, and they asked me today has that always been, or do you think that people have always had it and just now have realized and been diagnosed? And I don't know that it's always been around, but people have overindulged in so much, and maybe have caused problems within themselves. So there's definitely awareness out there now that I don't think used to be as prevalent, and people are more aware and are definitely trying to watch their weight and be more active. Just a simple walk from you don't have to drive to the mailbox if you live. You know what I mean. There's just simple exercises.
Do you see in a city the size of San Angelo, where, let's go back to the gluten situation, I know in some larger cities they are adding items on their menu for folks that are struggling. We have family members who live in bigger cities who are struggling with this the gluten problems, and there are restaurants that they know they can go to that have menu items.
Options, right.
So I don't know that there are that many yet in San Angelo, but I see the growing numbers. I know our kids in our schools, they're growing numbers of kids with food allergies.
Right.
And I see restaurants in San Angelo attempting very much to help our population move toward healthier choices.
Right.
And I appreciate that.
Oh, definitely.
I appreciate that. Now, when I want to go and have that half and half cream, I want to know I can get it. But I can't live like that routinely.
You can't. Nobody can.
Well, I would love to be able to, and maybe heaven will be where we can eat half and half creams.
That's right. We will be able to.
You think so? I hope so.
We can just pour it right out of the carton if we would like.
Okay, so 5 years from now, you would like to be helping young people.
I would love it.
Okay.
I really.
Well, I hope that I could maybe help with that. Maybe we can work on that together.
I really hope so.
And I would like to meet your grandparents and your family. Yes. Anybody that's raised a young person to have your work ethic, have a spark, that you're not fearful of the future. Was that a fair statement?
Very. You do have your setbacks, but you can't be fearful.
Yeah. Good for you.
You have to be determined and don't let the side notes throw you back.
Good for you. Okay, young man. You're good.
You're not too bad yourself.